Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today the fastest fingers in the wild Arabian West are going to tickle each other to death with APM as the Viper, playing as the Huns in yellow, prepares to take on Hera, playing as the Tatars in blue. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP, why don't we take a look at the Civ matchup we are going to be watching today. Now, the Huns are a civilization designed to take the fight to its enemy with crazy speed and mobility. Their cav archers get progressively cheaper in Castle Age, all the way up to 20% cheaper in Imperial. Their trebs fire more accurately at units, and their stables work 20% faster than normal, which is fantastic news for them because you can actually, as the Huns, upgrade your stable to train your unique unit, the Tarkin. This is a medium cavalry unit with a good amount of pierce armor and an attack bonus against buildings that makes it absolutely fantastic at late game destruction. Now, to support its militaries, take a look at the top of your screen where my mouse is making a little bit of a loop-de-loop. The Huns don't require any houses because they do start the game with 200 population already available, which does free up wood and villager construction time during those precious early stages of the game, but it does come at the cost of 100 wood. Now let's take a look at the Tatars in blue, played by Hera, a civilization that does everything it can to push you towards mounted units. Tatar cav archers come with extra line of sight. They get Parthian tactics and thumb ring for free. Some Tatar units mounted units can be upgraded to get extra +1/+1 armor, and both of their unique units are mounted. The first being the Flaming Camel, which is basically a mounted petard, except it comes with a massive attack bonus against all manner of men on horses, camels, and elephants. The second is the Keshik, a medium cavalry unit that actually generates gold every time it pokes and prods an enemy unit, which can become very, very useful in the late stage of the game once gold becomes scarce and raiding becomes more frequent. Now, once your army is out on the field of battle, very, very important for the Tatars to take this. No, not an empty piece of land. I am trying to refer to the high ground, because instead of the usual 25% extra damage units do in Age of Empires from the high ground, Tatar units do 50% more damage, which becomes even more important in the later stage of the game once trebs start coming out, because the Tatars can actually upgrade their trebs to have extra range. A fully upgraded Tatar treb with Timurid Siegecraft and Siege Engineers, 19 tiles of range. That's basically this entire screen. Now, in order to help feed the warriors and the beasts that they're riding, Tatar herdables do contain 50% more food, and starting in Castle Age, whenever you build a new town center, it automatically comes with 2 adorable sheep underneath, with, in this case, blue bandanas ready for you to take little pictures like Little Moodang. If you haven't heard of Little Moodang, definitely look up that word on any social media, MOO space DENG. Why, it's the world's most adorable little baby hippo, and it is just making an absolute splash in everybody's hearts. Now, all this kind of Instagram stuff aside, not a bad opportunity for us, as both players hit 16 villagers a pop, to take a look at the actual bases and see what's what. The attack path between them, aside from a forest and a whole bunch of mountains, it's pretty open to the north and pretty open here to the south as well. Lots of mountains, of course, going to the benefit of the Tatar, but the Hunnic base, let's see. Hun's always a interesting question mark, because the base always looks a little empty, a little sparse with no houses. The Huns not only don't need houses, but they actually can't build houses at all, which makes walling off for the Huns a little bit more difficult and annoying. But you know what? If anyone can handle it, it is the lightning quick Viper, whose gold is nice and secure to the back, but forward primary stone, and both patches of second and third gold are very much in the forward position, exposed. To the rear, he's got some extra stone and a good juicy 7,000 sized forest, which for a civilization that gets discounts on their cav archers, having a big forest is not a bad thing at all to the rear of your base. Ooh, Hera discovers the primary stone, the secondary, I won't even call it tertiary gold. Doesn't really matter which one, second or third. The point is, you're not first. And as my father would say when I would come home with a silver medal in chess, second place is first place for losers. Man, that makes my dad sound like a dick, but he was just joking. Hera now sees, wait a second, my loop went completely the wrong way. Hey, I wish I was the Vietnamese. I could start each game knowing exactly where my opponent is. And now he discovers right as he hits Feudal Age. Let's take a look at his base real quick because the Viper's only a few seconds away. Also, secondary and tertiary gold in the forward position. Primary gold a little bit not as far to the back as the Vipers, but exposed nonetheless. Oh my goodness, secondary stone off to the top. And primary stone actually nice and safe to the back. In Hera's rear, you know, sometimes when players start in a bit of a corner position, they have a rear. Hera doesn't really have a rear to his base. He's got an expansion to the right and he's got an expansion to the left, but nothing really in the quote-unquote rear position, much like the Viper has, being a bit more corner located. So we'll see how it all shapes up. For now, Hera continuing a very wide berth, looking for those extra resources. I feel like when he discovers the secondary gold is right here, he is going to be applying so much pressure. That being said, has the Viper discovered where Hera's gold is? No, he hasn't. He hasn't seen any of these patches of gold. And so he doesn't know that this would be a fantastic place to put on some pressure. He went, not too sure where the hell the Viper went, but did eventually find his way to the Tatar base. Now, I did break my own rule. In this game, the Viper did spawn as blue and Hera spawned as red. And man, oh man, am I trying to avoid comments like Hera should always be blue, Viper should always be yellow. I said, you know what? These two on the ranked ladder, they meet so infrequently. And when they do, hopefully it's a good time, even when it's not the longest of games. I remember there was one game about a year ago where Hera, I think the game lasted like 20 minutes because Hera walled his base off to the south and he used a straggler tree as part of his wall off. And then the Viper just chopped the tree down and shoved his army into the base. So they're maybe not necessarily the longest of games, but they're always entertaining. Like I said, these are the two fastest fingers in the West, the Wild West. The Wild Arabian West, he says, correcting himself multiple times. And so I expect the APM to be off the charts. I expect this game to be fun. So I figured, you know what? Let's remove any kind of ability to complain about this game. Now the only thing you can complain about is my shitty casting and my terrible personality. So welcome to my marriage. And right as I say that, a spearman for the Viper does go down. First blood drawn here. It looks like by the Viper originally. I, of course, rambling about how bad of a caster I am, missed a villager kill. We'll have seen that in picture, but Hera evens up the kill count with that one spearman. A cold comfort when you've lost a villager to kill a spearman, but you know what? If it's not a free kill, it's better than a free kill, if you know what I mean. Ooh, Hera taking a bit of a breather here, is about to get surrounded by some of these Hunnic scouts. Okay. Our Tatar, though, does have maneuverability here to go to the right side, is bringing a spearman forth. The Viper is bringing a spearman as well. Who will engage into whose spearman? Who will lose 36 HP with 2 pokes of the spearman's spear? Okay, blue closes in, risks it for the biscuit. Now that the spearman's dead, Hera is free to run into this not so open base, actually. The Viper has walled off his wood line, walled off his gold, walled off his wood line, walled off his berries. Town center's fairly safe. These aren't archer units, which means if they want to attack any of these villagers, they're going to have to dive into the TC just like that. And a spearman and a bunch of arrows, amateur as they are, should be enough to shoot this way. Now, the Viper doesn't really want to keep going out of position. I suspect he is microing on the other side of the map where he has killed a spearman, is going to kill a second one as well. Ooh, maybe not. Ooh, 2 friends show up. So now all of a sudden, 1 spearman you can take down. A second spearman on his own you can take down. But when multiple spearmen start showing up and you start losing more and more HP on your scouts, which, by the way, almost never at this stage of the game have bloodlines, then all of a sudden things start looking a little dicey. You might want to reconsider some of your life choices here. I speak, of course, to the scouts, not to the players playing the scouts, controlling the scouts. Okay, the Viper does have a little bit of high ground here, but he's not the Hun. So he loses a few scouts, does manage to clear up the spearmen, which means now these villagers are undefended, except for the cutlasses that they're wielding. 1 extra villager has fallen. A second extra villager has fallen. So total villager losses here for Hera, 3. But to be fair, not a terrible defense. The Viper lost almost his entire cavalry force. And Hera, okay, is heading back with 1 scout. The Viper he is here with one scout, but reinforcements are heading over, tethered to the slower walking younger brother Spearman, who just yells, wait up, I want to come too. Mom says you have to take me. And they'll eventually get to the battlefield. Ooh, a bit of an exposed villager here. The Viper, I think, trying to lure Hera's scout with these unwalled villagers so that the Spearman can catch up. Saying, ooh, look what a juicy target this is, Mr. Fish. Look at me dangle my worm. Look at me dangle my my lure. Why don't you just take a nibble? Just stop for a quick second, you know, take a break, attack one of my villagers. Oh, this guy? Oh, don't mind that guy. He's nothing. He's just gonna come and poke the horse's ass a little bit. Don't worry about that guy. Back on the other side of the map, the Viper, ignoring my nonsense, is going after another villager. Will he get a fourth vill kill? Nope, never mind. Goes right past the villager. And here we go, the quick fingers. One scout down. A second should die as well, especially... Oh, okay, I thought he would continue right. No, he does die anyway. Beautiful out of Hera to get as much possible damage. The ability of these players to squeeze the lemon of Age of Empires and get as much juice out of it as possible is just redonkulous. But does lose another villager. I honestly don't know what the hell to make of all of these villager kills. I mean, he's losing all of his scouts. These are not cheap scouts. You're not exactly the Magyar. You're not exactly a Castle Age Berber. These are full price 80 food scouts. That being said, the Viper, despite losing more military, even though total kill count is the same, he's killed 4 villagers to 0, has lost 16 military units. Does look, if you look at the top of your screen, like he will be clicking up to Castle Age first. Yeah, and our Tatar, who says, you know what? The caster says I'm kind of a mounted civilization, so F that guy. Pops his villagers into the TC, pops them out, and now corners. Look at this splits. He knows the scout is weak. He just needs one lucky arrow to land without ballistics. And it does. And now Hera takes the total kill lead. And the Viper is here with 2 more Spearmen. But now that archers are out, Spearmen, not exactly the most threatening of units, as Hera clicks up to the next stage. By the way, off the back of the same number of villagers, but about 40 seconds behind his opponent. Why? Because look at the TC idle time. The Viper has almost a minute and actually exactly a minute and 5 seconds more TC idle time. That is basically 2.5 villagers, almost 3 actually, that Hera can train with that less idle time, and out comes the force of archers. Not that the Viper hasn't seen them. They did kill his scout. And now he thinks he can take this. I don't think he can take this. I don't think he can take this at all. But he's going to try. Do your best. Do your best, little military men. Hera, for his part, not really too concerned about using the high ground advantage. Remember, as the Tatars, that 5 attack becomes 7.5, which I guess gets rounded up to 8 off the high ground. That is not bad for a Feudal Age archer, who in 40 seconds will be a Castle Age, no doubt, Botkin crossbow combo crossbowman, as our mounted civ continues to add bipedal archers here. Hera's got to stick to the high ground. You can't keep running between these mountains. Is his base open, though? Oh, it is open. And unlike his opponent, he actually, there we go, he actually can build a house. So just a little bit of a wall. Nothing too crazy. The Viper with his uptime, extra TC. Siege Workshop not in the forward position at all. Looks like another yellow scout here lying dead behind this Tatar barracks. And there's the old Botkin crossbow combo. Hera did get rid of his stone to go up to castle, which means he is not going to be placing a second town center anytime soon, which gives the Viper a bit of an opportunity here. Now that his scouts are light cav, they can take a little bit of a better engagement here. They do have both armor upgrades for Castle Age. 4 pierce armor against 7 attack usually is pretty good, but now if the attack is on the high ground, 7 becomes 10.5. And all of a sudden your 4 pierce armor doesn't look that great, but what does help is the Bloodlines upgrade, which gives them 80 HP. I'm wondering why the Viper placed such a defensive Siege Workshop. The Knights? Is there an alley in here? No, there isn't. How the hell did they get into the base and kill a villager nonetheless? We'll have seen that again in picture, but all of a sudden, for the second time, the Viper is inside the Tatar base, does discover these Cav Archers. Hera's going to go Cav Archers. Now, we've seen a lot of Cav Archer play out of a lot of different civilizations. And the Tatars, the Huns, these are two Cav Archer civilizations. Basically quantity versus quality, right? A discounted Cav Archer that is missing the last armor upgrade versus a Cav Archer that comes with extra armor, free Parthian tactics and thumb ring. Will he get the villager before he expires? He does not. And the attack continues here. Shoot away, but on the other side of the map, an absolute massive engagement as Hera gets 8 villager kills. Farms are now the next target. Beautiful splits. I should say split singular out of our Tatar as the Hunnic Scorpion Bolt misses entirely, but now there's 2 Scorpions, 3 Scouts. But the more the Viper hesitates, the more bolts he's taking from these crossbows, the lower HP his units are going to have once they finally do engage. But here comes another battalion. A battalion of stallions here. Let's see it. They close in on the right flank. A few of them, nope, looked like they were going to go after the left. Hera's doing an amazing job, but there's high ground to your right. Why did you go left? Looks like the Viper's Siege Workshop is also under attack. The Viper overextending his cavalry units, perhaps taking a little bit more damage than he needed to. The Scorpions barely catching up, but ultimately with trash units and 1 knight does clear up that army. And that's it. That's all she wrote for those archers become crossbowmen. And the transition has been complete. Our Tatar is now full on Cav Archer mode now. Even getting that knight. That is very sour for the Viper. The Viper's options, by the way, of catching up to these Cav Archers are very limited. Their units are not going to catch up the Huns unless you go Cav Archers of your own, which, to be fair, again, will be quantity over quality. But does he have... He doesn't even have an archery range. So the Viper's kind of stuck here because if he invests the wood now into an archery range, then that's less wood for those Cav Archers. I guess you got to go light Cav now, right? He is pumping out huge amounts of knights. 6 knights, 5 Scorpions. 4 of them look like they're in the defensive position. Not too sure where the 5th is. There he is on his own, slowly pedaling his way forward. And there we go. That's it. The Spearman is down. Blue's entire army is now all Cav Archers. Very forward TC. He sees the siege immediately going for a monastery there. Never mind. Not the siege at all. He's going after relics. No redemption for the Tatars. And yet again, it must be the wood line. You can't jack your wood to the back so long and expect it to stay closed like this. It is, in fact, Hera who has more villager kills now. So the Viper's massive vill kill advantage has all but melted and disappeared. As it looks like more knights are struggling to catch up. I mean, why does the Viper... You've got to transition here into wood. You've got 22 villagers on wood to Hera's 13, and you've got a discount, and you've got more villagers on gold, by the way. Why are you continuing to train knights? A 30 TC gone up for him. He's ahead 7 villagers. A 30 TC going up for Hera. Ooh, the Viper. Maybe if you were Frankish knights, you would be able to see this, but no. Okay, now he should be able to see. Oh, he saw the villagers. He saw the villagers building the summon. There we go. So he sees the 30 TC. He knows he's going up against a bit of a more economic play right now. And so maybe he has a minute to build up his army. For his part, though, Hera does not see the Scorpions. But man, oh man, does that extra line of sight come in handy. If you think line of sight is a bullshit bonus that doesn't do anything or mean anything, look at this ridiculous line of sight. He can see Scorpions coming from a mile away, but... He dive bombs underneath a TC. Oh no. Oh no, what a waste. That is a few Cav Archers that are not making it home for dinner. And then he looks like he dive bombed straight through a bunch of Scorpions as well. The Viper, 9 Scorpions, 3 Mangonels. Okay. Huang styling it, thinking he's the Celts. By the way, take a very good look at this Hunnic siege army. This is as good as it gets for the Huns. They don't have heavy Scorpions, so this basic Scorpion is all they're getting. They don't even have onagers. Forget siege onagers. They don't even have onagers. This is basically as good as it's getting. Also, no siege engineers for the Huns. So the Viper is pretty much all in Castle Age right now. This is not an army you want to build if you're trying to rush up to Imperial, because this is, like I said, as good as it gets. Where are those 2 free sheep? One of them has already been slaughtered. That being said, for an army quote-unquote as good as it gets, it's still a pretty scary army here. Looks like Hera's Cav Archers just north of here are wreaking havoc on these yellow dots that are moving forward. More siege out of the players. Or out of one player. But the siege is, seems to not be doing too well here, as our Tatar is starting to mix in some melee cavalry of his own. Well, I thought we were going to get to see when Hera transitioned into Cav Archers. I thought we were going to get to see, again, quantity versus quality. Unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately. It's all fun, but unfortunately for my prediction, we are instead seeing Siege Knight versus Cav Archer Knight. And this TC is just absolutely getting hammered by all manner of high ground siege. Now, the Scorpion doesn't come with the biggest building bonus, +2. The Mangonel as well, +35. They're decent bonuses. They're not crazy. It's not a Bombard Cannon. It's not 200, 250, Aufnitzer style. And that's it. The Viper's Southern Siege Force has been cleared up. His Knights are trying to catch up to these Tatar Knights. Looks like a lot of Tatar units have paid the price. Army counts are relatively small for both players. Knights close in on the last Scorpion, and the Viper's got no siege. And now 2 Cav Archer civilizations are very much going Knights against one another. The Viper's trying to close in on the Monk, but the Monk converts the Knight. Oh my goodness, in the blink of an eye, everything just went to shit for the Viper there. Or as our British viewers across the pond would say, it absolutely went pear-shaped for the Viper there, who is now saying, you know what, man, maybe I should transition to more of a wood build here. Let's see what he's going on behind. No, he's doubling down. He's doubling down on stables. Ooh, this is a good catch, though. This might give the Viper an opportunity to even up and surpass the villager kill lead that Hera's had for a while. Yeah, he evens it up and should surpass it in a second. All of those stone miners are dead, and Hera has no more villagers on stone. The last falls over here. But again, your Knights are not going to catch Cav Archers, and this is yet another classic Age of Empires trope. The Cav Archer versus the melee heavier, slower cavalry unit. If the Cav can close on the Archer, the Archer dead. But if he can't, then the melee cavalry dead. Run by conversion. Hera notices it. Will the RNG work? It does not for the second time. The RNG betraying the Viper as these 4 Knights now begin attacking. And the villager kill here, game derping out a little bit because of course it does. The Viper smartly pulling Hera underneath a town center full of 10 villagers. But for some reason garrisons it towards the end of that battle. Okay. Hera is only 2 villagers behind. He's ahead 6 army count. Population totals are pretty identical. Viper Knights to the north, Viper Knights to the south, Viper Knights patrolling the west. Let's see what he can get done here. He's got to get villager kills. He's got to get something going here. All of the momentum of the Viper has just stalled out entirely, and he gets trapped. It's not every day that you trap a player like the Viper, and the Knights are heading to cut this army off. Hera might even delete his own gate at this point just to attack these Knights. Absolute bedlam here as more things start going sour for the Viper. But will he get a villager kill with this one half-dead Knight? No! He dies a virgin, no kills at all. Closes it on the monks to the right, does get one. Does get a second, but man, these monk kills are so costly. Look at Hera body blocking the Knight! Kevin Costner style. And that, I mean, the monk body blocking with Knights, that was, I mean, the maneuvers out of these players are ridiculous. This game is absolutely incredible. The last few minutes have just been an absolute epic display of micro out of both players. I mean, I'm probably going to get like 10 shorts out of this one video alone. As the Viper going for more villager kills, does have 27 to 23. Oh, one single crossbow. You must be a mistake. Is yet another thing my father would say to me when I wouldn't win a chess tournament, but he dies nonetheless. But I'm saying that was a joke. Don't take it too seriously. People think people don't understand my self-deprecating, sarcastic sense of humor. We'll keep an eye on those knights as, oh no. Oh no, indeed. What the hell happened here? Let's take a very quick look. That was atrocious. While I was fawning over the micro in this one cosmic mistake of a crossbowman, Hera puts on maneuvers on the other side of the map, picking off one light cav, two light cav. I like that he's going after the light cav. They are the quicker of the units, the bigger threat to his cav archers. At the same time, knights are moving. Let's see if the RNG actually works for the Viper. It finally does. He gets a conversion, but still not enough to save the monk. And holy shit, where is even this the Viper's one army count? It's a knight reaching down to kill a villager. He's got 0 kills. He's got 12 HP. I mean, at this point, these two villagers could kill this knight. What an absolute chaotic, messy game out of both players in 42.5 minutes. Over 200, almost 250 kills. More than 50 villager kills. Wow. Right from the very beginning. And like I said, whether their games last 20 minutes or 3 hours and 20 minutes, can you imagine these two playing in 3 hours and 20 minutes? The only way I can imagine these two ever playing a 3-hour long game is if everyone started, if it was like a Michi game or an Amazon tunnel game, and instead of wood, this is all gold and this is all stone. And that's the only way I can really see these two players like lasting against each other for 3 hours. But it doesn't need to be 3 hours. In 42.5 minutes. What an absolute insane game. Why did the Viper not train a single cav archer? Why did he double down on the knights? Why did he abandon the siege push? Like I said, Tatar Hunnic siege, no onager, no siege onager, no heavy scorpion, no siege engineers. They peak very much in high school / castle age. And at a 1, did he only have 1 siege workshop? First of all, kudos to the Viper for training a 20 army count of siege out of a single siege workshop. That's pretty interesting. And I guess forgetting that he didn't have a market. Okay. Oh man, what a game. What a fun game. This was absolutely epic. 61 knights to 20, 34 light cav to cav archers and scorpions to crossbowmen. I mean, they're obviously not all at the exact same time, but look at their APM. The Viper having a higher APM than Hera, 1816, 2610, 8 minutes later is Hera's peak APM, but holy moly, 253 to 248. That just shows you. Look at the kill count. After 42.5 minutes, the kill count's 29 apart. Villager kills basically identical. APM basically identical. We need to look at the economies. Basically identical. Each one ended the game with a relic. Scarce resources going to our Tatar. Barely. A tiny bit more stone. A tiny bit more gold. But food going to our Hun and wood going to our Tatar. I wonder if the Viper had gone cav archers, what the game would have looked like. But what a ridiculous fun. And this is just sour for the Viper. 7 conversions to 1. And not for lack of trying. Not for lack of trying, but holy moly, Raising's also not really playing a role. That maneuver, I kind of really want to go back to this maneuver here. I don't think it's appreciated how hard it is to snipe monks. First of all, look at this. The Viper moves in. 3 monks, 4 knights, complete open path. Nothing here, or is this even the time? I might be mistaking this. Yeah, I'm completely mistaking. There was where was it? Was it earlier? It might have been earlier. And I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I went absolutely nuts fanboying out the ability of Hera to just body block all of the Viper's cavalry units trying to get that one last remaining monk. Was absolutely epic. And then the cherry on the sundae here, just an absolute full frontal punch to the face with cav archers and knights while the Viper's own army here dies to the back. Wow. I don't know what to say about this game except wow, wow, wow. Not every day you see the Viper get trapped. Not every day you see a monk survive a massive cavalry assault while two of his friends lay dead in the sand. Not every day you get to see all of this insanity, a massive siege push out of the Viper, who tried to take down the TC but failed. And Tatar gone up to 4 TCs to your 3. Hera does end the game with 13 more villagers despite being down for the longest time. I suspect economically he was down the majority of this game right up until that very end. By the way, he should have been down a lot more, having lost 4 villagers right off the frickin' bat. But wow, these two players tearing into one another. And like I said, the fastest fingers in the Wild West, tickling each other to death. And I am so happy that my intro became reality. And in this particular game, this particular matchup, what an absolute insane reality it was. But ultimately, it is our Tatar Hera who, with the monk protection, the conversions, the withstanding of the siege assault, does manage to get the W. But GG in all honesty and oh man, GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.